Nancy Depcik. Mama told me not to come.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and friends, let's have a little fun. Please put your hands out in front of you, make a fist, close your eyes, and remember your first roller coaster ride. Can you still feel the excitement? Can you feel the fear? All right, you can open your eyes now. I will never forget my first roller coaster ride because it taught me one of the greatest lessons of my life. Join me on a journey back in time, back to the 1960s. If you were in or around Chicago during that time, you would remember an amusement park called Riverview. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Riverview, to give you an idea of what it's like, think about Great America. Picture Great America on Valium. Because you see, Riverview didn't have all the crazy roller coasters of today. It didn't have all the flips and the turns and the hanging upside down. But it didn't have any of the safety features either. There were no harnesses, no belts, no buckles. And at the time, they had a roller coaster that was touted as being the fastest, fiercest roller coaster anywhere. And every year, someone would take that roller coaster to the top of that first hill. And when they got to the very top, they would stand up, because I said there's no safety features. They would stand up and they'd wave to their friends and say, "Hey, look at me." And as that roller coaster plummeted down that first hill, they would get sucked out, thrown to the ground, smashed up against the wall, and die. At least that's why my mother told the story. So when my big brother Tom wanted to take me to Riverview for the day, my mom turned to me and she said, "Nancy, no roller coasters. Those things will kill you." But all I knew is I got to spend the day with my really cool big brother Tom. So off we went to Riverview. Oh! If you had been standing beside us, you would have seen these huge gates, painted in bright yellow and orange and red. You could hear the laughter and the screaming coming from inside the park. And if you took a minute, you could even smell the cotton candy. It was 74 acres of pure fun, and every kid wanted to be there. I was 10 years old at the time. Tom was 20. So after an hour or so on the kiddie rides, he got bored. He says, "Come on, Nancy, we're going to go on a roller coaster." "No, no, no," I screamed. Mama said no roller coasters. But he never did take no for an answer. So he thought a minute and he says, "If I get her to say yes, will you go then?" That seemed reasonable to me. So off we went to find the nearest payphone, phone booth. A lot of you remember those. Tom closed the door. It's a glass door, so I could see him in there. And he's talking on the phone. He's laughing and nodding, and he's smiling, and he steps out, and he says, "Guess what, Nancy? Mama said yes. We can go on a roller coaster." I was terrified. But there was no going back now. Before I knew it, we were standing in line, inching our way forward to my first roller coaster ride. Suddenly was our turn, and we slid into this small car with this tiny bar across our lap for safety. Nothing else. I could barely reach it. And suddenly there was this jerk, and the chains began to pull that roller coaster up that first hill. And you can hear the clanking, and the clinking, and the squeaking. And just before we reached the top, that's when my brother nudged me and he said, "Guess what, sis? Mom's at work. I never did talk to her." What? I screamed, "We're gonna die!" And as we plummeted down that first hill, we were smashed to the right. We were thrown to the left. We went up more hills. We went down more hills. I was hanging on for dear life. I was so scared. And suddenly, the ride ended. And that car stopped in the very same place it had started. I took a deep breath. I looked at my brother. I said, "Let's do it again." That's when he gave me this great big hug. He said, "You see, sis, you're stronger than you think." And on that day, in the strangest of places, in an amusement park on a roller coaster ride, I learned that when you face your fears, you will soar to new heights as long as you don't lose your grip on reality. Mr. Toastmaster.